What up guys, this is Lex Ishtar. I try to bring you the most wacky deck ideas that there ever was and ever will be, so let's get into it. Right now I have a reptile deck, so it's a light and a dark. It's a mix of venoms and ogdoadic monsters. And I have an extra deck that is just consists of level 8s and level 4s with a link monster. Nothing too crazy, you can kind of pick and choose what you put in there. The skill that I have is Puppet Strings of Fate. And I would use light and dark reptile type, but the only bad thing about that is that I cannot special summon any monsters from the extra deck besides reptile, and unfortunately Duel Links doesn't really give you many choices for reptile monsters, so I would like to keep that open. But another skill you can use is Baggy Sleeves, because you're level 8s. If it gets destroyed by a battle, you draw 2 cards in your next draw phase, which is pretty good. Puppet Strings of Fate is just, I get an extra level 8. But the boss monster, vennominaga, the deity of poison snakes, is the most indestructible card. Why? Because it cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by the Rise of Snake deity. It cannot be special summoned any other ways, gains 500 attack for each reptile in the graveyard. It's unaffected by everything, so spell and trap, monsters effects, and when this card is destroyed, all I have to do is banish one reptile type monster from the graveyard, and I can special summon this card. So when this card inflicts damage to my opponent, I place a Hyper Venom counter on it, and when I have 3 Hyper Venom counters on this card, I win the duel. So if I can't OTK my opponent, let's just say that he has a Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, then what I do is I just attack it 3 times and I win with 3 counters. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So how do I summon it? I summon it with Venom, the King of Poisonous Snakes. It does the exact same thing as that, except for without all the doodads and whatnot. And I use the Rise of Snake Deity. Self-explanatory. When Venom, the King of Poisonous Snakes is destroyed, then I can special summon my boss monster. Which is very, very hard to put those 2 cards in a combo, which kind of sucks. So offering to Snake Deity is a good way to do it, and I can use it with any other reptile monster I have in the field. So yeah, those 3 cards make up my boss monster. So let's go over the ogdoadic parts of the deck. So I can send this card from the hand to the graveyard, and send 1 dark reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if I control no monsters, or if I control only ogdoadic monsters, I can special summon it from the graveyard, but it is banished when it leaves the field. I would say that card is one of the most important cards in the whole entire deck. Now the next card I were to look at is the Ogdoadic Light. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute 1 monster, special summon this card, then your opponent can special summon 1 monster from their graveyard but negate its effects. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 4-level Ogdoadic monster in the graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So the Dark does the same thing essentially when it comes to summoning it. Tribute 1, special summon this card from your graveyard, and then you can take 2 of your banished reptile monsters and put them back in the graveyard. And you're going to see why this is important later. And we're going to take a look at the Ogdoadic Queen. So the Ogdoadic Queen, you tribute 2, and then you special summon this card, and if a monster is special summoned from your opponent's graveyard, you can send 1 card they control to the graveyard. This is really good. They can choose 1 monster from their graveyard, but you can pop any monster, including the same monster. So that's pretty good for the deck as well. If they like to use zombie decks or anything likes to really special summon from the graveyard, that's really good. Now Overlord, this card is in your graveyard, contribute 3, so it's a little bit hard to summon sometimes. But if it's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Once while this card is face up on the field, you can send all monsters on the field to the graveyard that weren't special summoned from the graveyard. So essentially it's a good board wipe. And the Remnant. What this card essentially does is it sends itself to the graveyard along with 1 other light reptile monster. Common theme, they both get sent to the graveyard, and then I can add 1 Ogdoadic spell card to my hand. So I only have 1 spell card, which is the Ogdoadic Water Lily when it comes to Ogdoadic. Send 1 to the graveyard, and then if I have 5 or more reptiles in my graveyard, I can special summon any reptile. And it's very important that you have 5 in the graveyard. The other thing is the Flow Ghost. Only thing that does is if I brick with a whole bunch of level 8s, I can put that in the graveyard and I can switch it. So I can put it in my hand and discard the level 8 to the graveyard. It's pretty useful for bricky hands. I don't really use the first effect that much. Zoha, the Ogdoadic Boundless, that one does the exact same thing, but this one's good because when it goes to the graveyard, I can add 1 Ogdoadic monster from my deck to my hand. That essentially helps if you brick with too many level 8s in your hand. So what you want to do is you take Nunu, special summon it, tribute it with Ogdoadic Light, special summon your remnant with Ogdoadic Light, then you get Water Lily to your hand, and Water Lily can be used to special summon any monster as long as you have five different reptiles in your graveyard. You use Dark, because Nunu's going to be banished, and Noya is going to be banished, both of the level 4s, you use that card to put them both in the graveyard. So you'll have 5 different reptiles in the graveyard, so you can use Water Lily to special summon anything you want. Now what I want to do is get the King of Snakes out on the field, ideally, but the only time I want to do that is if I have Offering, Snake Deity, and Rise of Snake Deity on the field together. Otherwise, if I don't have those, I will use it to get my Overlord on the field, so it'll be an essential board wipe. It actually is a pretty good first turn board wipe. If they want to XYZ summon or anything else, they're going to have all those monsters on the field to be able to do it. Well, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, we got Moy Valentine, Quattro. They're using an Ancient Warrior deck. Puppet Strings of Fate to get the XYZ in there. Alright, use Snake Rain. I'm going to discard 1, put 4 reptiles in the graveyard. Now it's really important that you know that you have to have 5 different reptiles in your graveyard for the spell card Water Lily to work. You want your Dark, your Light, your Remnant, your Nunu, and your Overlord. And the reason why you want Overlord in there, just in case you can't get your ultimate combo that you want to get out, because it's a really good boss monster as well for the Ogdoadic deck. So I'm going to special summon Nunu, tribute Nunu with Light. Light's going to bring out Remnant. Remnant's going to bring out Water Lily. Alright, now I'm going to use Dark to tribute Remnant, and because Remnant left the field, it's banished. Now notice I used Dark second. I didn't use him first, and the reason why I didn't use him first is because if there's only 1 reptile banished, this card is not going to work. So it's very, very important that you do that. Also, I got 2 level 8s like that too, so that helps. I can use any of these boss monsters if I really wanted to. But for now, I'm going to tribute him with Ogdoadic Queen after I put these in the graveyard. Okay, now I'm going to use Water Lily, get another card in the graveyard, special summon my Overlord with it, pass. Alright, that's just a Babu's card, get the attack points up a little bit on his Ancient Warriors. He's going to special summon up a couple Ancient Warriors. I'm going to use my Boss Monsters effect to send them all to the graveyard. This card is a very good disruptor. If anyone wants an XYZ, Synchro, anything like that, you can really disrupt it before they get the boss monster. Attributed that, doing the whole cycle over again. Got Light, put the Remnant back on the field, get another Water Lily. Same thing, put the Nuna back on the field. Queen tributes 2 monsters, not just 1, so that helps. I'll have 2 that are banished again, so then I can use Dark again. Boom, put those back in the graveyard. Now I have well over 5 monsters in my graveyard. I'm going to use Water Lily to bring out my King. Alright, now, right away, Offering to Snake Deity, destroy 2 of his and 1 of mine. Because I destroyed the King, I'm going to bring out my ultimate boss monster. 3000 attack isn't bad. He's going to use that again. Special summon his Ancient Warrior. And another one. He's going to Link Summon. Link Summon card isn't that bad. I can send one card from hand to the graveyard. 1 face-up card I control to the hand. This is a really strong one. It decreased mine by 1000. Now, the bad thing is it couldn't do anything to my boss monster, but it sure just wiped my other monsters off the field. So in that, I got the Offering in there just in case something happens. And now I'm just going to destroy him with this monster. Unless he can attack over it, he loses. 1 Hyper Venom count him. There's nothing you can do, buddy. 0. Unless he can attack over, there's nothing you can do. Has to pass turn, you can't do anything. So I'm just going to attack again. Yep, let me get a second Hyper Venom counter. And he's going to have to pass. Nothing he can do. And now I'm about to win. Yep. Winner! Yup, he loses. Worst way to lose, automatic win condition. Now, I could have got him with life point damage, but I decided to do the win condition just because it's cooler. Could have did either or, but yeah, that's the deck list for today, and it's not that bad. I wouldn't say it's top tier, but it's very fun to play with. I'd say I'd be able to get that combo out every maybe 1 out of 3 or 4 times. Otherwise, Overlord in the beginning is a very good play, along with some XYZ monsters, and you can win that way as well. So I hope you like the deck list, and you guys have a good day, and take care. Hope to see you next time.
By tributing 2 monsters on your side of the field, I'm gifting you this powerful monster. Lava Golem!